Hey everyone, this is Eran from SternFX, and in this tutorial I want to show you how you can get the most out of the new mask feather tool in After Effects CS6. I have this shot here of an architect lady, probably an architect lady, which have a different definition in terms of focus. We have a shallow depth of field in the area of the shoulders and beneath, and a little bit less definition around the hair, and much sharper image around the face. In previous versions of After Effects, in order to mask out these kinds of video, we needed a couple of masks. In this version, we can rely mostly on the new mask feather tool in order to get better results. I also have here a yellow solid, which I turn to a guide layer, meaning that it will not render, but it will help us to determine if the mask that we are generating is in good shape. I also took the time and masked out the first frame of this lady, meaning that the mask is not traveling with the motion of the camera. We will deal with that later on, but for now, let's switch it from none to add and toggle off the visibility of the path so we can see that indeed we have sharp edges. Now I'm going to bring back the visibility and I'm going to switch tools from the pen tool to the new mask feather tool. Now note that Adobe has changed the shortcut here, and if you press G, it will toggle between the regular pen tool and the new mask feather tool. If you like the old behavior, you can go to After Effects Preferences, or if you're working on Windows, under Edit Preferences, and then under General, you can turn this new behavior off and the G shortcut will toggle between all the pen tools. But I think that this is a little bit more convenient, so I'm going to stick with this behavior. Now, it is very simple. You just go around your path, press and hold, and if you drag it to the left, then you can generate an outer feather point. Drag it inside your shape or your video, and you can generate an inner point. So I'm quickly going to generate few feather points here. So maybe one here, another one here, and you can see that we are getting an interpolation between the first and the second and the next point that I'm going to add. So let's move the next one closer here, because here in the video we have a sharper definition. So something around those lines, and maybe another one here, and I'm going to drag it over there. Another point, and then just drag it outside. And I think that this will do for the outer boundaries. Now let's create few on the inside, so maybe around here, and then just drag it a little bit inside the frame. And once again, we have to create at least few more in order to define the interpolation between each one of them. I'm not going to worry about creating feather points for the hair, because I can still use the mask feather, the general feather, in order to blend it a little bit better in this area. I'm going to drag another point and maybe place it over here. And let's just hide for a moment everything and check our intermediate result. Now this already looks much better than what we previously could do. I'm going to go and add maybe 2 pixels of feather just in order to define a better definition around the hair. And we are basically done. All we need to do now is just animate the path along the movement of the camera. But before doing so, I want to show you few additional things that you can do in order to improve the feather points that I've just created. So I'm going to zoom in inside the image, select this point, and if you hold and press on the cursor key, the left and the right cursor will move this point clockwise for the right cursor and counterclockwise for the left one. You can also use the up and down arrows if you want to nudge it inside or outside. if you also hold down the Shift key, it will move in larger increments. You can also control few of the interpolation parameters by right-clicking on it and change the modes here. So first you can choose to hold the interpolation, and this will hold the value of the point here until it will reach the next point. I'm going to back up and undo the last modification. You can also change the corner angle and the radius. The radius is basically the same as dragging it in or outside around your path. And you can also control the tension. Now, instead of controlling it numerically by typing numbers here, you can actually hold down the Alt key and just drag it up or down. And if you take a look at the info panel, then you get your values, and this will change the behavior and the look of the feather. You can also control the feather fall-off by selecting one or more points and then go to the layer menu, and under mask you can choose between the smooth, which is the default, and the linear, which will change the appearance. Now, if you find these marching ends a little bit distracting at this stage, you can go to the flyout menu, and under view options, you can dismiss it for the moment. So now you can get a better idea of how the mask is generating itself. I'm going to back up by pressing undo and leave myself with the smooth feather fall off. Now at this point, I recommend to dismiss the path visibility and check your result full screen. Now for me, it looks quite all right. And I think that what I'm going to do next is basically animate this mask. So I'm going to create a keyframe for the mask path and then press Shift page down to move 10 frames in my timeline. I'm going to also press Shift question mark in order to fit the frame so I can see everything that I'm doing. And since I'm selecting the mask itself, all the points are being selected. So now I can use my cursor key and just nudge it approximately to the place. Now I need to do some kind of modification to my mask. So the best way to do it is to deselect everything, then select the layer itself, and then press V in order to return to the regular selection tool, and then just select the mask, come outside and select few of the points here, which will allow you once again to move them to their place. I'm going to hide it for a moment and then just play with it. And I'm not going to bother myself with those little earrings here. So for this demonstration, we are not going to actually include them, but you can of course add more point path and continue to work on it. Once again, I'm going to press Shift page down, then select the mask. Once again, toggle the visibility of the mask off, deselect everything, select the mask. So I will make sure that everything is highlighted and selected, and I'm going to try to match it to this point. Now you can still control all the points individually. So if you think that you need to take care of the feather area, you can of course drag the feather outside or inside, or even add more points, or just modify the mask itself. This is regular After Effects things. Just make sure that you are aware of the new behavior of the pen tool, which means that now if you select anything, you don't have to press Ctrl or Command in order to highlight the point. Actually, if you press Command or Control, it will switch to the delete or add point, or sometimes to the convert vertex, and you might get an unwanted behavior. So just be aware that Adobe has changed this behavior. So once again, I'm going to highlight around those points and just nudge them back to place. And I'm going to check the result here. I think that we can select everything once again and just nudge everything to the place. So I'm going to quickly do the rest of the job here, and then we will check how it looks. So this is my intermediate result, and I think it's looking quite good. But at any given time, if you think that you need to do any additional modification, just select the mask, make sure to select the feather tool, and maybe I will add another point here at the area of the hair. And once again, I'm going to toggle on and off the mask visibility so I can check it and just move along my timeline to see if the modification need any attention since I animated the mask. And I think that for this amount of work, we have an exceptional result. So let's check it with the new background that I've prepared. I will close this layer and hide my solid layer and also unshine the rest of the layers here. This is a Photoshop layered document which I've imported and already animated a bunch of the layers. In order to match the blur definition of the original video here, I've added an adjustment layer with the camera lens blur effect. And now we can go to full screen and I will create a final run preview for you so we can check the final outcome. So you have to agree that this is a welcome addition to the new version of After Effects CS6. Without it, you have to rely on third-party solution. Now you can do it inside the software just with a little bit of work and a lot of control. Until next time we'll meet, this is Eran Stern from sternfx.com.